What's up, everybody in YuGiOh YouTube land? This is JesseBurn representing Team FTK. And if you guys would like to be entered in our 800 subscriber giveaway for a special edition of Cybernetic Horizon, all you have to do is click the link down below, check out my Counter Fairy deck profile, like, comment, subscribe to enter the giveaway, and also make sure to like, comment, subscribe on this video. It really helps keep us motivated. And this is JesseBurn representing Team FTK out. Everybody in YuGiOh YouTube land, this is JesseBurn representing Team FTK, and I'm here joined with
Chris.
And today, we know you guys been sleeping a lot, so we're gonna wake y'all up and we're gonna talk about some sleeper decks, get y'all some bacon and eggs, get y'all's backpack packed and ready for school. So let's get into it.
All right, to start off, we're gonna start off with Danger, and there's different builds of Dangers. You got two right now. One with BA, and the other one is with Dark Worlds. And the one with Dark Worlds is more consistent than the one with BAs, from what I see. And that's my opinion, which I feel like the BA Dark World or Dangers is pretty good because you get the discard cards to the grave and it benefits you, and then you get a big old beat stick monster out on the field, and then you get a draw one, and you can make different variants with the Sekka's Light and stuff like that.
It's really busted with destruction back in the game, and you can just discard your hand and then just draw for days and plus off all their effects. And then they're getting new support, like Thunderbird was announced. I'm sure there's going to be like even more Danger support because it's like TCG only archetype.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be busted.
And another deck type that people are sleeping on is 6 Sams, which is pretty cool because you can make big plays with the 6 Sams. And
it's pretty good with True Kings, and you can play it with True Kings and be able to make the big fucker Calamities and just have him out on the field to negate shit, and also still having like Xian and Beast and Barkion still negate is still pretty relevant in today's meta because you can negate the Sky Striker cards. You can negate like evenly matched with Barkion. It just works really well.
Yeah. And another deck we want to talk about is Crusadia. It's a real sleeper deck, and it can OTK easily, and you can always go second and just sit back and watch your opponent make plays and just know how to disrupt their board and basically go in and attack during battle step and still beat them easily. And it's not that many variants of Crusadia, but you do got Crusadia with Mech Knights and Crusadia with Sky Strikers, and it's a pretty solid build, and I personally play Crusadia.
Yeah, it's a sleeper with, you can play like Kaijus with it for sure, and that's the sleeper right there is the Kaiju Slumber. You know,
you gotta wake them up.
You gotta wake them up, and then it's really good because even if you go first, you can still make something that negates by tributing a Crusadia monster, which is really busted because it's always good to have something to go first and second.
Yeah, and talking about going first, a good deck that's going first is been slept on for a while. It's Black Wings, but thanks to the new support that Black Wings got, it probably sped it up. I haven't personally played it myself, but from hearing from other people that's topped in different places, that it does have a solid standalone and good combos with the deck.
Yeah, Black Wings has always been really fun, especially for players who grew up watching like GX and shit and watching Crow. And it's still really a lot of fun, and I think it's a sleeper element because you can still spam with it because you get monsters that give additional normal summons to Black Wings and monsters that special summon Black Wings, so you can still spam the field with Lynx or Synchros. And they have cards that let you special summon from the graveyard, cards that search whenever you summon a Blackwing. So it's really busted.
Yeah, and then you also have the trap card, Sonic Blackwing, or Sonic, I'm sorry for the chopping up the name, but basically what the trap card does is when your opponent attacks or declares an attack, while you control Blackwing, you could basically banish all attack position monsters they control. And it's pretty good because not a lot of decks have recursion from the banish zone.
Unless you talk about Cosmos.
Yeah.
Which is another really good deck. That's a sleeper that people are sleeping on. It's getting a few tops here and there now that Dark Destroyer is at 2.
Yeah.
But it's another deck that people are sleeping on because you can play so many different variants.
Yeah. Like you got the one with Fire King of the Field Spell.
Yeah, the Fire King Island.
Yeah, the Fire King Island, which is a pretty good build. And then you can play Diagram in it, so you can pop cards out of your own hand. And another card people sleep on is Earthbound Immortal. I forgot, it's the lizard one, to where if it's destroyed from either field or hand, when it's just destroyed in general, you basically could just blow up the field, and that could bring a good advantage to your end.
Yeah, and you can also play it with the Malefic monsters, because you play Cosmo Town and you play Terraforming, so you always have a field spell, and you always want to have a field spell, and you can protect your field spell easily with Walker, which is another Cosmo, and then you can just like special summon out the Malefic, and then keep him on board, and he's a 4,000 attack monster, and he's also another target for Lure because he's dark.
Yeah, and then we got liminal removal too, so we got some machines in there, so we could go off with that and go for the OTKs. And another deck I want to talk about is Ninjas. Ninjas is almost like Gokis, but it's pretty busted. I like it because you can just search certain trap cards and just discard them to get an effect from hand to spam the board and constantly make the loop with the firewall and stuff like that. And it's pretty good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you can play techie cards like playing Dark Smorg and playing like Apex Avion in there because the trap card can special summon them.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of different options that you can play that people are just like sleeping on Ninjas, and it's like a good deck. And then also we have Spirals that we wanted to talk about. So Spirals was like the shit like last format, and was topping crazy pretty much like Zodiacs. But then it kind of got, you know, outshadowed by like Gokis and stuff like that, but Spirals is still like really consistent and really busted.
Yeah, honestly, like Spirals, I never played it personally, but just playing against it to have Sleeper, literally popping 2 cards on your turn and then on my turn. So basically, you just lose because say if you're running a deck that revolves around back row, basically when they go first, put Sleeper on the board with a Decode Talker, and then say it's past turn and you set, it's pretty much game over from there, because on your end phase they're going to pop 2, and then it comes back to their turn, they're going to pop 2 more. So now you just minus yourself 4 cards, almost like Gumblar, you know what I'm saying, when they discard 2 cards out your hand. And you can link actually in Spirals and shut your opponent out.
And they're still really busted even though 2 of their main cards got hit to 1, being Quick Fix and Drone.
Yeah.
And they're still really consistent, just the fact that basically like, okay, their main search card and then their main card that adds back the resources, they're both at 1 and the deck can still top. That's busted.
Yeah, and just to know that you got information to know what your opponent is playing. So basically you could put certain cards on top and or just rearrange their deck in any order or whatever. And that's pretty good, because like what he spoke about Drone being at 1, it never did slow down the deck. Like last year it was topping crazy. Like I didn't even want to play the format.
Yeah, no, fuck that. So we also have another, speaking of like Dumblar ripping 2 cards out of your hand, you can play another option without playing Dumblar. You can play Mermels, and you can just rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hands with Musho and Glacia. And a lot of the cards have been reprinted now, so if you don't want to go high rarity, you can make low rarity Mermels and just OTKs going second. And then going first, you can still make like totally awesome with like another negate and playing hand traps with the Light Senka build.
Yeah, and like he said, a Light Senka build, it's just more consistent, because then you could play the frogs in there just to take up some room, and then the hand traps, Drow and Lock, Ash, Ghost Ogre, and stuff like that. And Ghost Ogre, I wouldn't really play it, but Drow and Lock and Ash, just those 2 cards alone can just make somebody want to scoop, because they can't search no longer, and they just run out of resources or plays right there.
Yeah, it's really busted. And you can play the Gen X engine where you just like, okay, I play Gen X Ally, send to the graveyard the controller, and then you can banish the second light, draw a card by shuffling back the controller. It's really busted.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's we have Blue Eyes. I'm sorry, people been sleeping on Blue Eyes, and now with the new Blue Eyes support, Machine Bingo or Bingo Machine Go, that card is so busted because it lets you reveal 3 of the cards that has Blue Eyes or Chaos Max in it, and your opponent chooses one and you can add it to hand, which can further plays for the Chaos Max build. And the Chaos Max build is pretty good because the monster says it can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And so if you attack a monster in defense, it also does double battle damage.
Yeah,
so,
it does double piercing. And it's really good because Blue Eyes have everything they need to be consistent. I personally don't like the deck at all, but I still feel like every time I see like a Chaos Max player, I cringe a little bit because I'm like, okay, either I can side in my Book of Eclipse, and if I don't draw into it and they have the right hand, I lose. So like that just sucks.
Yeah, just to have a 4,000 beater on a field that can't be targeted or destroyed, it's kind of good because it's a ritual monster, so you don't have to always rely on an extra deck. But even when you do rely on the extra deck, you have the Blue-Eyed Spirit Dragon. Basically, it can tag out to special summon another dragon from extra deck, which is good because I like Moonlight Rose Dragon. And on some plays, if you know how to utilize Moonlight Rose Dragon, it can actually shut your opponent down because like that could be one extra deck monster they really needed to stay on field to go off or be an extender.
And then so the last deck that we wanted to talk about is the deck that has been around for like 4 fucking formats now, and it's just crazy that it's still around because it never dies, and that is Burning Abyss.
Everybody knows what Burning Abyss does, and they know how to play against it, but it's just having monsters that you could just continue to special summon out of hand, but you can only use one name at a time. It's still busted because Farfa, come on. You sit on Beatrice, send Farfa, banish.
Yeah, disruption is crazy.
Yeah, and they just reprinted Dante Common out in the new legendary decks, so at your locals everybody's gonna start playing Burning Abyss, and then you could play different variants of Burning Abyss. You could play the one with the Malicious and the Fable monster.
You can play it with Sekka's Light.
Yeah.
You can play it with just like a whole bunch of hand traps and floodgates. You can run pretty much any floodgate except for Macrocosmos. You can run Mistake. You can't run Rivalry or Ghost.
You can run
Match.
Vanities.
You can run Vanities. You can run Vanity's Fiend.
You can run Majesty Fiend.
Yeah. You can run Anti-Spell Fragrance. You can run just anything to just shut down the meta. And it's a really busted deck.
And like you can make the PK version basically because the trap cards are good. The Fog Blade is good, what I want to say. And then you could, to recur banish cards, you could just run Lavier, like to bring back your PK engine and just continue to go off. And the deck's busted. I love it, and I'm glad it withstand the test of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, and it's just really good. It's consistent. It's one of those decks where it is topping a lot now, but people are still sleeping on it.
Yeah.
So with this video, I hope we woke you guys up, so to speak, and got you ready for your day of Yu-Gi-Oh! And hopefully you learned something from this video. And y'all guys make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you.
Peace.